Hello, friend. Welcome to Science for Sleep. Whether you're returning tonight or just finding this channel for the first time, this is a quiet place to slow down, learn something gentle, and let the day gradually fall away. Tonight, we are following the quiet life of foxes. Picture one standing at the edge of a field as the light begins to fade. Its ears are lifted. Its nose is pointed toward the grass. Its tail hangs behind it like a soft brush. At first, a fox can seem simple. A small red animal, a flash of movement near a fence line, a shape crossing a snowy road. But the longer you look, the stranger and more interesting it becomes. A fox belongs to the dog family, called Canidae. That is the same broad family that includes wolves, coyotes, jackals, and domestic dogs. And yet, a fox does not really move through the world like a wolf. It does not usually hunt in a large pack. It does not rely on size or strength in the same way. A fox survives by being light, quiet, flexible, and hard to predict. It can feel almost cat-like in the way it slips through tall grass, listens before moving, and vanishes before the eye has fully followed it. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, you're welcome to subscribe. And if it feels natural, to leave a comment sharing where you're listening from tonight. It helps others find their way to this calm corner of the world, one sleepy traveler at a time. One of the most surprising things about foxes is that some of them may use the magnetic field of Earth when they hunt. The magnetic field is the invisible force around our planet that a compass needle responds to. Humans usually need a tool to notice it, but some animals seem to sense it directly. Birds use magnetic information during migration. Sea turtles may use it while crossing oceans, and red foxes may use it in a much smaller, quieter way, while listening for prey hidden under grass or snow. When a fox hears a mouse moving beneath the surface, it may freeze, tilt its head, measure the sound, and then leap. This hunting leap is sometimes called mousing. The fox rises into the air, curves its body, and dives face first toward a spot it cannot fully see. In winter, the prey may be hidden under a layer of snow. Under that snow is a small space called the subnivian zone. That simply means the hidden layer between the ground and the snowpack, where mice, voles, and other small animals can move through little tunnels. To us, the snow might look still. To the fox, it may be full of tiny sounds. The faint scrape of claws, the soft movement of a body under white cover, the pulse of life hidden below the surface. Researchers have found that red foxes often seem more successful when they pounce in certain compass directions. That does not mean the fox is thinking about north or south the way a person would. It means its body may be using sound and magnetic information together, like two soft guides crossing at one point. A mouse moves under the snow. The fox listens. The planet itself may help complete the aim. That single idea turns the animal in the field into something much more mysterious. A fox is not only looking at the world, it is reading it through sound, smell, movement, and perhaps even the quiet pull of earth. Foxes are also remarkable because they have spread across so much of the world. The red fox, one of the most familiar species, lives across much of North America, Europe, Asia, and parts of Northern Africa. It has also been introduced to Australia, where it became one of the country's most successful invasive mammals after European settlers brought it there in the 1800s. That wide reach tells us something important. The fox is not locked into one kind of place. It can live near forests, farms, hills, tundra edges, suburbs, and city streets. It can eat rodents, fruit, insects, eggs, birds, rabbits, carrion, or scraps left behind by people. It is not the strongest hunter in the dog family. It is one of the most adaptable. The Arctic fox survives in lands of snow, ice, and long winter darkness, with thick fur, small ears, and a compact body that helps hold in heat. The fennec fox lives in the deserts of North Africa, with enormous ears that help release heat and listen for movement under sand. One fox becomes almost part of the snow. Another becomes almost part of the desert. And between them, the fox shape begins to feel less like one simple animal, and more like a quiet answer to many different worlds. So tonight, when we picture that fox at the edge of the field, we are not only seeing a small animal with bright eyes and a long tail. We are seeing a member of the dog family that went its own way. A hunter that may listen through snow. A survivor that can live beside humans without truly belonging to us. A creature that has become part science, part symbol, and part shadow at the edge of the grass. That small shape at the edge of the grass belongs to a very old family. Foxes are canids. A canid is a member of the dog family. This family includes wolves, coyotes, jackals, domestic dogs, and many kinds of foxes. But being in the dog family does not mean every canid lives the same kind of life. A grey wolf, known scientifically as Canis lupus, is built around strength, distance, and group life. Wolves often live in packs made of a breeding pair and their offspring. Together, they can travel for miles, follow large animals, and use teamwork to bring down prey much bigger than themselves. A wolf may hunt deer, elk, moose, or bison, depending on where it lives. Its world is wide, open, and social. The wolf survives by reading the movements of the pack as much as the movements of prey. A fox went in a different direction. Most foxes are smaller, lighter, and more solitary. A red fox, Vulpes vulpes, usually weighs somewhere around 8 to 15 pounds, though size changes by region. That is far smaller than a grey wolf, which can weigh several times more. Instead of chasing large prey for long distances, a fox often hunts small animals one at a time. Mice, voles, rabbits, birds, insects, eggs, fruit. A fox does not need a whole pack to find a beetle in the grass or a vole moving under snow. It needs patience, hearing, timing, and a body light enough to move without wasting energy. This difference changes everything. A wolf is an endurance hunter. It can follow prey across open land, wearing it down with distance and pressure. A fox is more like a quiet problem solver. It pauses. It listens. It changes direction. It tests the edge of a field, a ditch, a hedgerow, or the space beneath a fence. A wolf may cross a valley with other wolves beside it. A fox may cross a garden alone at 2 in the morning, stepping between flower pots and shadows, looking for whatever the night has left behind. Both are canids. Both carry the long history of the dog family, but one became a powerful social hunter. The other became a smaller survivor built around flexibility. Even the word fox can be more complicated than it first sounds. The animals called true foxes mostly belong to a group called vulpes. A genus is a scientific grouping that holds closely related species. The red fox belongs here. So does the Arctic fox, whose scientific name is Vulpes lagopus. So does the fennec fox, Vulpes zerda, the tiny desert fox with oversized ears. These animals share the classic fox shape: a pointed face, upright ears, a light body, a long bushy tail. But not every animal called a fox sits on the same branch. The gray fox of North and Central America, Uroxion cinereoargenteus, belongs to a different and older branch of the dog family. It looks fox-like, with a pointed face and long tail, but its family line separated from the true foxes long ago. It also has a strange skill that most canids do not have. It can climb trees. That one fact shows how wide the fox idea can become. Some foxes cross snowfields, some move through deserts, some hunt in city parks, some climb into branches. The name fox is not just one simple thing. It is a pattern that nature has shaped in more than one way. Small canids found different answers to the same pressures. How to find food without being large. How to stay safe without always living in a pack. How to move through a world filled with bigger hunters, changing seasons, and human settlements. The fox answer was not brute strength. It was lightness. It was caution. It was sharp hearing, fast movement, and the ability to make use of whatever was nearby. So when a fox stands still in the dim grass, it carries two stories at once. It is part of the dog family, but it is also proof that the dog family did not have only one path. Some canids became runners, some became pack hunters, some became close companions to humans, and some became foxes. The difference begins to show in the body itself. A red fox is not built like a small wolf by accident. Its shape is its strategy. A typical adult red fox is about 18 to 35 inches long from head to body, not counting the tail. The tail can add another 12 to 20 inches, which means a large part of the animal's visible length is that long, soft brush trailing behind it. Its body is light. Its chest is narrow. Its legs are slim. Its feet are quick and neat, leaving small tracks that can appear in a straight, careful line across mud, snow, or damp soil. A wolf is built for power and distance. Its shoulders are heavier. Its jaws are stronger. Its legs can carry it across wide country while following large prey. A fox is built for a different kind of work. It does not need to pull down an elk. It needs to slip through grass without shaking every stem. It needs to fit through gaps in hedges, under fences, around fallen logs, and into narrow places where larger animals cannot follow. Its small size is not a weakness. It is a way of entering the world more quietly. The fox's muzzle is long and narrow, ending in a small black nose that is always gathering information. That pointed face helps give the fox its familiar look, but it also suits the work of sniffing close to the ground, nosing into leaves and reaching into small openings. A fox may push its muzzle into grass, snow, soil, or the entrance of a burrow. checking for the scent of mice, rabbits, insects, or another fox that passed through earlier. The head is light enough to move quickly from side to side. The nose, ears, and eyes all work together as the fox pauses and reads the space in front of it. The pointed ears are just as important. They are large for the size of the head, and they can turn toward faint sounds. A fox does not only look for prey, it listens for it. A tiny rustle under leaves, a vole shifting below snow, a beetle moving through dry grass. The ears lift, angle, and adjust before the body moves. This gives the fox a kind of stillness that feels very different from the steady forward motion of a wolf. The fox waits because waiting gives its senses time to gather detail. The tail, often called a brush, is one of the fox's most useful features. It is not only decoration. When a fox runs and turns sharply, the tail helps with balance. When it leaps, the tail can steady the body in the air. When it curls up to rest in cold weather, the tail can wrap around the feet, face, and nose, holding warmth close to the body. In winter, a sleeping fox may look like a small circle of fur against the snow, with only the tips of its ears or nose visible. That long brush helps the animal become both more agile and more sheltered. A fox's coat also supports this small, careful life. The red fox is famous for its reddish fur, but the color can vary. Some are pale orange, some are darker. Some have silver, black, or cross-shaped markings along the back and shoulders. The white underside, dark lower legs, and white tail tip are common features in many red foxes. The fur is not only for appearance. It traps air close to the skin, helping hold body heat during cold nights. Seasonal coats can change in thickness, with winter fur becoming denser and fuller than summer fur. All of this makes the fox a study in useful detail. The narrow chest allows it to move through tight cover. The light legs allow quick starts and sudden stops. The pointed muzzle reaches into hidden spaces. The ears catch small sounds. The tail balances the body and holds warmth. Compared with a wolf, the fox gives up size, strength, and the safety of a large pack. But it gains access. It can enter the edges of the world. The ditch beside a road, the brush behind a barn, the narrow strip between a fence and a field, the quiet garden after midnight. Its body is made for margins, for places where large animals are too heavy, too loud, or too visible. Yet even a perfect body is only part of the story. A fox can move softly through the grass, but movement alone does not explain how it chooses the exact place to stop. It can slip through a gap, but something must tell it which gap matters. The body carries the fox forward. The senses tell it where the hidden world begins. For a fox, the field is not only a place of grass, soil, stones, and stems. It is a place of tiny sounds. A red fox can stand almost completely still, with its paws set lightly on the ground and its ears lifted above the grass. To a person nearby, the field might seem quiet. There may be only a little wind moving through dry weeds, or the faint ticking of insects in the dark. But to the fox, the same place is full of small signals. A vole shifting in a tunnel, a mouse brushing against the underside of snow, a beetle moving through leaf litter, a rabbit turning in cover before it runs. The fox's ears are large, upright, and mobile. Mobile means they can move and turn, instead of staying fixed in one position. Each ear can angle toward a sound, helping the fox compare what reaches the left side and what reaches the right side. That comparison matters. When a sound arrives slightly louder in one ear, or reaches one ear a tiny moment before the other, the brain can estimate where the sound came from. Humans do this too, but the fox depends on it in a more direct way. For a fox hunting at night, sound can become a map. Not a map with lines and labels, but a soft pattern of direction, distance, and movement. The grass may hide the prey. Snow may cover it completely. Leaves may scatter its shape into nothing. But sound still travels. A field mouse does not need to be seen if its feet make faint contact with dry stems. A vole does not need to appear above the snow if its body rustles beneath the surface. In winter, this can become especially important. Small mammals often move below the snowpack in hidden paths. The snow above them muffles the world, but it does not erase every sound. A fox may lower its head, tilt its ears, and listen for several seconds before moving. That waiting is part of the hunt. The stillness is not empty. It is measurement. The fox is gathering information from the smallest changes in the air. Its ears help narrow the space from a whole field to one patch of snow, one clump of grass, or one hollow beneath leaves. The shape of the ear helps with this. An upright ear can catch and funnel sound toward the ear canal, the opening that carries sound inward. The outer ear acts a little like a dish. It gathers vibrations from the air and helps direct them deeper inside. Those vibrations eventually reach the inner ear, where tiny sensory cells turn movement into nerve signals. The brain then reads those signals as sound. For the fox, this process happens quickly and constantly. The world becomes layered. There is the visible field, where moonlight lies on the grass. And there is the audible field, where hidden lives move out of sight. This is why a fox may suddenly stop for no reason a person can see. Its body freezes. Its ears sharpen forward. Its head turns slightly. Then it waits. A person might think nothing is happening, but beneath the grass, something has shifted. The fox has heard a point on the map. Many of the animals a fox hunts are small enough to disappear easily. Voles can move through narrow runways in grass. Mice can slip below roots and fallen leaves. Young rabbits may freeze in thick cover. Insects may hide under bark or soil. A larger hunter might miss these small chances. A fox is shaped around them. Its hearing allows it to hunt in the thin spaces between sight and silence. The ear does not work alone, of course. The nose gathers scent. The eyes catch movement. The whiskers can help sense close contact around the muzzle. But hearing gives the fox something special. It lets the animal notice life before life becomes visible. It turns the unseen into a direction. It turns a faint rustle into a place. This is part of what makes fox movement feel so careful. The animal is not wandering randomly through the night. It is following a pattern most of us cannot hear. Every pause may contain a decision. Every tilted ear may be part of a calculation. And when the sound becomes clear enough, the fox does not simply walk toward it. It prepares its whole body. The paws settle, the head lowers, the back tightens, the tail balances behind it. Somewhere beneath the grass or snow, the hidden animal keeps moving. The fox has found the sound. Now it must turn that sound into a strike. A red fox hunting in winter may stand over snow that looks smooth and untouched. Beneath it, a small animal may be moving through hidden tunnels close to the ground. That hidden space is called the subnivian zone. Subnivian simply means under the snow. It is the thin layer between the frozen ground and the snow above it, where small mammals can move, feed, and stay protected from wind. Voles, mice, and shrews may use this space during cold months. The snow acts almost like a roof. It hides them from many hunters. It also softens sound, but it does not make the world silent. A fox can pause above that white surface and listen. Its ears angle forward. Its head tilts to one side, then the other. Its paws press lightly into the crust. For several seconds, the fox may look as if it is doing nothing at all, but its body is collecting small clues. A faint scratch below the snow, a tiny shift in direction, a soft movement under the surface. Then, suddenly, the fox gathers itself. The back legs bend, the body lowers, the tail lifts for balance, and the animal springs upward. This hunting behavior is often called mousing, because foxes use it to catch mice and other small rodents. The fox may leap 2 or 3 feet into the air, sometimes higher depending on the snow, the slope, and the distance to the prey. For a small animal, that height matters. It gives the fox a better angle. It adds force to the dive. It allows the body to come down almost like a pointed arrow, with the nose and front paws aimed at one exact patch of snow. The motion looks graceful because it is so smooth, but it is also practical. A fox that simply walked toward the sound might warn the prey. A fox that dug too slowly might lose it. The leap gives surprise. The height turns listening into sudden contact. The angle lets the fox break through snow and reach the hidden tunnel below. In deep winter, this can be the difference between catching food and missing it entirely. Small mammals are a major part of the red fox diet. Voles, in particular, are important in many places because they are common, small, and active undercover. A vole is a short-tailed rodent, rounder than many mice, often living in grasslands, fields, and meadows. In summer, it may move through grassy runways. In winter, it may travel under snow. The fox follows the same prey across changing seasons, but the method changes with the ground. In tall grass, the fox may pounce into stems. In leaves, it may strike into a noisy patch of litter. In snow, it dives into a blank surface that gives almost nothing away. This is what makes the leap so memorable. To the human eye, the fox seems to attack an empty place. There is no visible target, no opening, no clear trail, just a listening animal, a white surface, and then a sudden rise and fall. Yet the movement is not random. The fox is using position, sound, timing, and body control. Its ears locate the hidden prey. Its legs provide the lift. Its tail steadies the body. Its pointed muzzle and front paws help break into the snow. Every part of the animal joins the same small act. The leap also shows why the fox's light body matters. A heavier animal might crash too loudly or sink too deeply. A fox is light enough to move over snow, but strong enough to punch through it when needed. Its body is built for that balance. Soft movement first. Sudden force only at the final moment. In that way, the pounce is almost a complete summary of the fox itself. Quiet before action. Patient before speed. Careful before commitment. The snow may cover the field like a closed book, but the fox has learned to read what is written underneath. Still, the accuracy of the leap can feel strange. A sound under snow is faint and blurred. The prey is moving. The surface hides every detail. And yet, again and again, the fox listens, rises, and drops toward one small place. The ears explain part of it. The body explains part of it. But there may be another guide in the silence, one that does not come from the mouse at all. The ears explain part of it. The body explains part of it. But the fox may be using one more layer of the world. Around Earth, there is an invisible magnetic field. It is created mostly by the movement of molten iron and nickel deep inside the planet's outer core. That outer core begins thousands of miles below the ground, far beneath soil, stone, roots, rivers, and snow. As the liquid metal moves, it helps produce a magnetic field that reaches outward into space. A compass needle lines itself up with this field. That is why a compass can point north. To humans, this field is usually invisible unless we use a tool. But many animals seem to sense magnetic information in some way. Migrating birds use it during long journeys. Sea turtles use it while crossing wide oceans. Some fish, insects, and mammals may respond to it too. The ability to sense magnetic fields is often called magnetoreception. That simply means receiving or detecting magnetism. And in red foxes, this idea becomes especially interesting because of the way they hunt. Field observations of hunting foxes have shown something strange. When red foxes pounce on hidden prey, they do not seem to leap in random directions. They appear to be more successful when they jump in a particular compass direction, often toward magnetic northeast. Magnetic northeast means a direction related to Earth's magnetic field, not just the ordinary north shown on a street map. The fox is not standing there with a compass in its thoughts. It is not choosing a direction the way a person chooses a road, but its body may be responding to a natural signal that has always been around it. Imagine the fox standing over snow. Below the snow, a vole is moving. The fox hears the faint sound and turns its head until the sound is centered. That gives one kind of information. The prey is somewhere ahead. But sound alone may not always give perfect distance. Snow can muffle sound. Grass can scatter it. Leaves can bend it. A tiny animal underground does not send out a clean signal like a bell. The sound is soft, broken, and partly hidden. One idea is that the fox may use Earth's magnetic field, like a rangefinder. A rangefinder is a tool that helps measure distance. In this case, the fox would not be holding a tool. The field around the planet may act like a quiet line or pattern inside the fox's sensory world. when the sound from the prey and the magnetic direction line up in a certain way, the fox may get a better sense of where to strike. It would be using two invisible guides at once. One guide comes from the prey, the other comes from the planet. This does not mean the fox sees glowing lines in the air. No one can say exactly what the fox experiences. It may feel like a faint visual shadow. It may be processed somewhere in the nervous system, without the fox being aware of it. It may be linked to the eyes, the brain, or tiny magnetic particles in body tissues. Scientists are still working to understand how animals detect magnetic fields at all. But the pattern in fox hunting is striking, because it connects a small winter pounce to one of the largest forces surrounding Earth. A vole moves under snow. A fox listens from above. And between them is the same magnetic field that helps shape compass needles, bird migration, and the protective bubble around our planet. The scale is almost calming to picture. A small red animal in a field, a hidden rodent beneath a white surface, the slow turning earth below them both, the liquid metal moving far underground, the magnetic field rising through rock, soil, roots, snow, fur, and air. The fox does not need to understand any of this. It only needs to survive. And survival often works through senses that feel ordinary to the animal, but astonishing to us. A dog can smell a trail that seems empty. An owl can hear a mouse beneath leaves. A bat can build a picture of the night from echoes. A fox may be adding the planet's magnetic field to the soft sound of prey. This makes the field around the fox feel full rather than empty. The grass is not just grass. The snow is not just snow. The quiet air carries scent. The ground carries vibration. The planet carries direction. And the fox moves through all of it with a body tuned to signals we mostly overlook. The fox moves through signals we mostly overlook. Some are carried through the air. Some cling to grass stems. Some settle on stones, fence posts, tree roots, and old paths through the field. For a fox, smell is not just a sense. It is a way of reading what has happened before it arrived. A red fox lowers its narrow muzzle to the ground and gathers information from scent molecules. A scent molecule is a tiny piece of matter released from a body, plant, food, soil, or surface. When those molecules enter the nose, special cells inside the nasal passages detect them and send messages to the brain. To a person, a field may smell like damp earth, dry grass, leaves, or snow. To a fox, that same field may hold the trail of a rabbit, the path of a mouse, the mark of a rival fox, and the faint odor of fruit fallen under a hedge. The nose helps the fox find food. A fox can follow the scent of small mammals through grass. It can locate carrion, meaning the body of an animal that has already died. It can notice eggs in a nest, insects in soil, or scraps near human buildings. Smell widens the fox's menu because it reveals food that is hidden, buried, old, or out of sight. A vole may vanish into a tunnel. A bird may leave the ground. A rabbit may freeze in cover. But each one can still leave a trace behind. Foxes also use scent to understand one another. They mark their territories with urine, feces, and secretions from scent glands. A scent gland is a part of the body that releases strong-smelling chemicals. Foxes have glands near the tail, around the face, and in other areas of the body. These odors may seem sharp or musky to humans, but to another fox, they can carry clear information. A scent mark can suggest who passed through. It can signal whether the animal was male or female. It may show breeding condition, recent movement, and perhaps even social status. In a quiet way, scent lets foxes leave messages without meeting face to face. This matters because many foxes spend much of their time alone. A fox may hunt by itself at night, moving along hedgerows, ditches, or the edges of fields. Yet it is not truly moving through an empty place. Other foxes may have passed there earlier. One may have marked a tuft of grass. Another may have left droppings on a raised stone or path, where the odor spreads more easily. A third may have followed the same route at dawn. To human eyes, the field has not changed. To the fox's nose, the whole place has been written over. It is like a page filled with quiet notes. Here is a boundary. Here is a stranger. Here is a possible mate. Here is food. Here is danger. Here is the path used last night. Foxes often mark noticeable objects, such as rocks, logs, clumps of grass, or trail edges. These raised or exposed places help scent travel. Wind, moisture, temperature, and time all change how long a scent remains. On a cold, still night, scent may linger close to the ground. After rain, some odors may fade, while others rise more strongly from soil and plants. In dry summer weather, scent may become thinner and harder to follow. So the fox is not reading a fixed map. It is reading a map that changes with weather, season, and the movement of other animals. This gives fox life a hidden social layer. A fox may not walk beside a pack, but it still knows its neighbors. It may avoid a stronger rival. It may search for a mate. It may keep track of where its own boundary ends and another fox's begins. It may return to familiar paths, because those paths carry the most information. The body of the fox is light and quiet, but its world is crowded with scent. Every blade of grass can hold a trace. Every tree root can become a signpost. Every old trail can carry yesterday's movement into tonight. So when the fox pauses, lowers its nose, and breathes in slowly, it is not merely sniffing. It is gathering the story of the place. The hunt may happen alone, but the fox is surrounded by messages from other lives. The hunt may happen alone, but the fox is surrounded by messages from other lives. This is one of the quiet misunderstandings about foxes. They are often called solitary animals, and in many ways, that is true. A red fox usually hunts by itself. It does not move across the land in a large pack the way wolves may do. It does not need several adults to surround a mouse, flush out a beetle, or search for berries beneath a hedge. Its usual prey is small enough for one fox to catch alone. A vole, a rabbit kit, a ground-nesting bird, a cluster of insects under loose bark, a fallen apple softening in the grass. For that kind of life, a large hunting group would not always help. It might even make things harder. Several foxes moving through the same patch of grass would make more noise, leave more scent, and divide food that was already small. So the fox often works in silence. It moves as one animal. It listens with its own ears. it follows its own nose. But solitary hunting is not the same as a lonely life. Foxes still hold territories. A territory is an area an animal uses and may defend because it contains food, shelter, den sites, or access to mates. For a fox, a territory might include field edges, woodlots, drainage ditches, gardens, farm lanes, or quiet corners of a town. The size can change greatly depending on the habitat. In rich farmland or suburbs, where food is common, a fox may use a smaller area. In colder, rougher, or more open places, it may need a much larger range to find enough to eat. The fox may not patrol every inch each night, but it knows the important paths, the gaps in fences, the hollow under a shed, the trail along a stream, the raised stump where scent marks last longer. During the breeding season, fox life becomes more clearly social. Red foxes often form pair bonds, especially between a male and a female during the months when kits are being born and raised. In many northern regions, mating happens in winter, often around January or February. After mating, the female carries the young for about 52 days. By early spring, the kits are usually born underground in a den. At that point, the fox that seemed like a single shadow crossing a field becomes part of a small family system. The mother stays close to the den when the kits are very young. The male may bring food. In some cases, older offspring or related females may also help near the den, depending on the population and local conditions. This is not a wolf pack chasing large prey across miles of open ground. It is quieter than that, more hidden, more centered around a burrow, a few paths, and repeated visits through grass and brush. Food may be carried back in the mouth. A rabbit, a bird, a small rodent. Later, as the kits grow, adults may bring live or partly disabled prey, giving the young a chance to practice. The denning season reveals how flexible fox social life can be. For much of the year, one fox may seem to belong only to itself. But when young are hidden underground, the work becomes shared. One fox keeps watch. One fox hunts. One fox returns with food. The kits wait near the entrance, listening for footsteps and familiar sounds. A fox family is not always visible as a group. Often, the signs appear separately. Tracks leading toward the same den. Bones or feathers near the entrance. Fresh digging in loose soil. A faint, musky smell close to the burrow. Small kits tumbling outside at dusk, then vanishing quickly when an adult gives warning. This is why fox social life is better pictured as a quiet network than a visible pack. The connections are real, but they are spread out. They exist in scent marks, shared routes, seasonal pair bonds, den work, and brief meetings in the dark. A person might watch one fox cross a road and think it is alone. But that fox may be moving through a known territory. It may be passing messages left by other foxes. It may be returning to a mate. It may be carrying food toward young hidden under roots. The fox's world is private, but not empty. And when scent is no longer enough, that hidden network can become suddenly audible. Across fields, gardens, and winter woods, foxes have voices that can make the quiet night feel awake. Across fields, gardens, and winter woods, foxes have voices that can make the quiet night feel awake. A fox is not a silent animal. It may move quietly. It may hunt alone. It may step through grass with hardly a sound. But when it does call, the sound can feel startling. A red fox can bark. It can whine. It can yip. It can make short contact calls. It can give alarm calls when danger is near. And during close social moments, especially between adults or young foxes, it can make a rapid chattering sound often called geckering. Geckering is a rough, fast series of notes. It can sound like a mix of clicking, coughing, and arguing. It is often heard when foxes are interacting at close range, such as during playful fighting, conflict, or tense meetings near food or territory. The sound does not feel smooth like birdsong. It feels broken, sharp, and busy. A reminder that fox communication is not always graceful. Sometimes it is practical, emotional, and immediate. The most famous fox sound is probably the scream. People hear it at night and often do not know what animal made it. It can be high, harsh, and sudden. In a quiet neighborhood, a fox scream may carry across gardens, rooftops, and empty streets. In the countryside, it may rise from a hedge or field edge and seem to come from no clear place at all. Because foxes are often hidden when they call, the sound feels detached from the body that made it. There is only darkness, then a cry, then quiet again. This is one reason foxes have seemed mysterious to people for so long. A hidden animal with a human-like scream is easy to turn into a story. Long before trail cameras and wildlife recordings, people heard foxes in winter darkness without seeing them clearly. They knew something was moving near the edge of the village, the farm, or the wood. They heard a voice that did not fit neatly into the calmer sounds of night. That strange voice helped make the fox feel half real and half symbolic. Clever, elusive, unsettling, a little magical. But the calls themselves are not magic. They are communication. During the breeding season, fox calls become more noticeable. For red foxes in many northern places, this season often falls in winter, around December, January, and February. At that time, males and females may call while searching for one another or staying in contact across a territory. A bark can mark presence. A scream can carry over distance. A whine may happen at closer range. The sounds help foxes find, warn, challenge, or answer each other without needing to stand face to face. Sound can travel where scent may be too slow and sight may be blocked by darkness, trees, snow, walls, or distance. Territory also shapes fox voices. A fox does not only live in a place, it has to keep track of who else is using that place. A bark in the night may warn another fox away. A sharp call near a den may signal alarm. A series of calls may help maintain space between neighboring animals. This is especially useful for an animal that often hunts alone, but still shares the wider landscape with others of its kind. The fox can remain separate, yet still connected. Its voice stretches across the gap. Fox kits add their own sounds to the family world. When young foxes are near the den, they may whine, squeal, chatter, and make softer contact calls. These sounds help adults locate them and respond to their needs. A hungry kit does not need a complicated message. it only needs to be heard. As the kits grow and begin wrestling near the den entrance, their little calls become part of the evening scene. Small bodies tumble in dry soil. Tiny teeth tug at ears and tails. The adult fox watches from nearby grass. And the hidden den, which seemed like only a hole in the ground, becomes the center of a living family. So the fox's voice carries more than one meaning. It can be a signal between mates, a warning to rivals, a call from young to adults, a sudden alarm in the dark, a rough chatter during close contact. Each sound belongs to a different part of fox life, and each one points back to the same quiet truth. The fox may seem like a lone shape moving through the night, but its world is threaded with contact. Scent marks hold the past. Calls move through the present. And somewhere below roots, soil, or old stone, the next fox generation may already be waiting in the dark. Somewhere below roots, soil, or old stone, the next fox generation may already be waiting in the dark. A fox den is more than a hole in the ground. It is a nursery. It is a shelter. It is the place where a wandering hunter becomes tied to one small part of the land. Red foxes often use dens during the breeding season, especially when the female is ready to give birth. The den may be dug by the foxes themselves, but foxes are also practical animals. They may take over or enlarge an old rabbit burrow, a badger set, a woodchuck hole, or a hollow space under tree roots. A set is the name often used for a badger's burrow system. These older tunnels can save work. They already lead underground. They may already have chambers, turns, and packed walls. A fox can reshape them, widen them, clear loose soil, and make them useful for its own young. A good den usually has more than one entrance. Some dens have 2 or 3 openings. Larger, older den systems may have even more. These entrances matter. They allow foxes to escape if danger comes from one side. They give adults more than one way to enter and leave. They help air move through the tunnel system. They also let kits appear at different openings once they are old enough to explore. From above, the den may look simple. A dark opening in a bank, a sandy hole under a hedge, a tunnel at the edge of a field, a worn patch beneath a shed. But below the surface, it can become a small protected world. There may be a tunnel sloping down into the earth. There may be a chamber lined with dry grass, leaves, fur, or other soft material. There may be side passages that twist away from the main entrance. The exact shape depends on the soil, the age of the den, and whether another animal built it first. Foxes often choose places with cover nearby. A den near brush, tall grass, woodland edges, or farm boundaries gives the adults a safer route in and out. The entrance may be partly hidden by roots or weeds. Loose soil may be scattered around it. Bones, feathers, fur, or leftover food may collect nearby. Once kits are being fed, there may be a strong musky smell because fox families leave scent around the place they use most. Before the kits are born, the adult foxes may visit several possible dens. Some foxes keep more than one den within their territory. These extra dens can be useful if the first site becomes unsafe. If people, dogs, flooding, parasites, or other threats disturb the den, the adults may move the kits to another place. The mother can carry a young kit gently in her mouth, holding it by the loose skin at the back of the neck. One by one, the young can be moved through grass, brush, or darkness to a safer opening somewhere else. This changes the meaning of fox movement. Earlier, the fox crossed fields alone. It hunted, it listened, it marked its paths. Now its movement has a center. The den pulls it back. Food is carried toward it. Danger is watched from it. Scent gathers around it. The adults may still travel at night, but they return again and again to the same hidden place. The denning season usually comes in spring, for red foxes in many northern regions. After a gestation period of about 52 days, the female gives birth underground. Gestation means the time between mating and birth. The number of kits can vary, but a litter often has 4 to 6 young. At first, they are helpless. They cannot leave the den. They cannot hunt. They depend on warmth, milk, and the steady work of the adults above them. So the den becomes a quiet boundary between two worlds. Above ground, there is cold grass, moving air, moonlight, and the risk of owls, coyotes, dogs, vehicles, or humans. Below ground, there is darkness, soil, body warmth, and the small breathing of new life. The fox that seemed quick, clever, and independent now has something fragile to protect. And soon, those hidden young will begin to stir closer to the light. Those hidden young begin life in darkness. A red fox kit is born small, blind, and helpless. At birth, a kit may weigh only around 3 to 4 ounces, about the weight of a small apple. Its eyes are closed. Its ears are folded. Its body is covered in soft, dark fur that does not yet look like the bright red coat of an adult. For the first days of life, the kit cannot follow a trail, catch food, or even leave the den. It is warm because the mother is close. It survives because milk is there. It stays alive because the adults keep returning. A newborn fox does not begin as the quick, alert animal seen crossing a field. It begins as a tiny breathing body pressed against its littermates beneath the ground. A litter often has 4 to 6 kits, though the number can be smaller or larger depending on food, health, and the age of the mother. Together, they form a small pile of warmth in the den chamber. Their first world is not wide. It is soil, fur, milk, darkness, and the bodies of their siblings. After about 10 to 14 days, the eyes begin to open. The kits do not suddenly see the world clearly. Vision develops slowly. Light enters. Shapes become more useful. Movement begins to mean something. Their hearing also improves as the ears open and the sounds of the den become part of their world. The shuffle of an adult at the entrance, the faint call of a sibling, the movement of claws against dry soil. By around 3 or 4 weeks old, the kits become more active. They begin to crawl, stumble, and push around the den. Their legs are still unsteady. Their bodies are round and clumsy. Their movements are small versions of what they will later need. A paw reaches, a mouth grabs, a sibling rolls over. A tiny body tries to climb and slips back down. At first, it looks like simple disorder, but the kit is learning where its legs are, It is learning how hard to bite. It is learning how another body responds. Soon, the outside of the den becomes part of the lesson. At around 4 to 5 weeks, young foxes may begin appearing near the entrance. They do not go far at first. The den opening is still the center of safety. A kit may step into the light, sniff the soil, blink at the open air, and then hurry back underground. The world above is full of new textures. Grass bends against the legs. Dust sticks to the paws. Wind moves through the fur. Bird calls, insect sounds, and the distant movement of larger animals all enter at once. Near the den, the kits begin to play. They wrestle with each other. They bite ears and tails. They pounce at leaves. They chase one another in short, uneven bursts. They tumble, freeze, spring forward, and fall over again. This play is gentle training. When a kit bites too hard, the other reacts. That teaches control. When one kit chases another, both practice speed, turning, and balance. When a kit crouches before jumping, it is beginning to shape the same pounce an adult fox uses when hunting mice and voles. The body learns before the hunt begins. The adults help this process by bringing food. At first, the young depend on milk. Later, adults carry meat back to the den. This may include rodents, rabbits, birds, insects, or other small prey. As the kits grow, they begin eating solid food. The adult may drop food near the den, and the young gather around it, sniffing, pulling, chewing, and competing in small bursts of energy. Food is not only nourishment, it is practice. The smell of prey becomes familiar. The texture of feathers, fur, bones, and skin becomes part of learning. The kits are not hunting yet, but the hunt is being introduced piece by piece. Their play also teaches social signals. A raised tail, a lowered body, a quick retreat, a playful bite, a warning sound. These small actions help young foxes understand each other. They learn when to press forward and when to stop. They learn how to compete without serious harm. They learn how to read motion. Around the den entrance, survival begins softly. Not as a chase through a field, not as a leap through snow, but as wrestling in dust, biting a sibling's ear, losing balance, and trying again. What looks like play is the first shape of skill. And as the kits grow stronger, the edge of the den is no longer enough. The world begins to widen by a few feet at a time. First, there is the tunnel, then the entrance, then the patch of bare soil just outside it, then the grass beyond that. For a young fox, this small area becomes a classroom without walls. A kit learns by touching, chasing, biting, sniffing, watching, and making mistakes. It does not sit and receive lessons in any human way. Its learning happens through motion. A dry leaf skitters across the ground, and the kit pounces. A beetle moves in the dust, and the kit follows. A sibling runs past, and the chase begins. An adult fox appears with food, and the young gather close, learning the smell and shape of prey before they can catch it themselves. Fox cleverness is often described as if the animal is always planning tricks. But real fox intelligence is usually quieter than that. It is flexible trial and error. Trial and error means trying something, seeing what happens, and adjusting the next action. A young fox may paw at a strange object, back away, return, sniff it, bite it, and then decide whether it matters. That kind of testing is useful for an animal that may one day live near fields, farms, forests, roads, bins, sheds, gardens, and streams. The fox does not need to understand the world the way a person does. It needs to keep learning what can be eaten, what can be ignored, what should be avoided, and where safety can be found. Near the den, a kit's first problems are small. How close can it get to a sibling before being knocked over? How fast can it turn without tumbling? Which sounds mean an adult is returning? Which movements in the grass are worth chasing? Which smells belong to food? Which smells belong to danger? These simple tests build the habits that later become survival skills. Watching adults matters too. Young foxes pay attention to the movements of their parents. An adult that freezes suddenly can teach caution without making a sound. An adult that carries prey to the den teaches what food smells like. An adult that gives a warning bark can send the kits back towards safety. The young do not need a full explanation. They learn the pattern. When the adult stiffens, stay alert. When the adult returns with prey, gather close. When the adult disappears into cover, the edge of the world may not be safe. The body remembers these patterns through repetition. Chasing siblings is also more than play. A kit that follows a brother or sister around a clump of grass is practicing pursuit. A kit that leaps and misses is learning distance. A kit that rolls, twists, and gets back up is building balance. These small movements prepare the muscles, eyes, ears, and brain to work together. Later, when a vole darts through grass or a bird flutters from the ground, the young fox will already know how to turn, stop, pounce, and recover. Curiosity is part of the design. Foxes are cautious, but they are also willing to investigate. That balance is important. An animal that is too fearful may miss food. An animal that is too bold may walk into danger. A fox survives in the space between those extremes. It checks, it waits, it tests, it comes closer, then pulls back. This is especially useful in changing habitats. A fox may find a new den site under old roots. It may learn that a compost pile attracts insects and fruit. It may discover that a fence has one loose board. It may avoid a road after hearing vehicles pass night after night. These are not grand plans. They are small adjustments gathered through experience. By late summer or autumn, many young red foxes begin moving farther from the place where they were born. Some may leave to find territories of their own. This movement is called dispersal. Dispersal means young animals spreading away from their birthplace. It helps reduce competition with parents and siblings, and it allows the species to occupy new spaces. A young fox leaving the den area carries no map on paper. It carries a body trained by weeks of watching, chasing, smelling, hiding, and testing the world. That is the kind of cleverness a fox needs. Not cleverness as a trick, cleverness as adjustment, cleverness as noticing, cleverness as trying a path, reading the result, and finding another way. And because foxes are so good at finding another way, they can live in places that seem very different from one another. Because foxes are so good at finding another way, they can live in places that seem very different from one another. The red fox is one of the clearest examples. Its scientific name is Vulpes vulpis, and it has one of the widest ranges of any wild member of the dog family. It lives across much of Europe. It stretches through large parts of Asia. It reaches into northern Africa. It is found across much of North America. And in the mid-1800s, red foxes were introduced to Australia, mostly for hunting, where they later spread widely across the continent. That kind of range is not ordinary. Many animals are tied closely to one habitat. A specialist may need one kind of forest, one kind of prey, one kind of climate, or one kind of nesting place. The red fox is different. It is a generalist. A generalist is an animal that can use many kinds of food, shelter, and habitat instead of depending on one narrow way of living. This is one of the main reasons the red fox has done so well. In a forest, a fox may move beneath trees, follow deer paths, search through leaf litter, and hunt along clearings. In farmland, it may travel beside hedgerows, barns, hayfields, drainage ditches, and stone walls. In grassland, it may listen for rodents moving through stems. In mountain regions, it may use rocky slopes, scrub, and open meadows. Near tundra edges, it may hunt in cold, open places where snow and wind shape the ground for much of the year. In suburbs, it may pass through backyards, parks, school fields, golf courses, and garden sheds after dark. In cities, it may use railway lines, vacant lots, alleys, cemeteries, and quiet streets as pathways. The setting changes. The fox keeps adjusting. Food is one reason this works. A red fox can hunt mice, voles, rabbits, birds, and insects. It can eat eggs from ground nests. It can take fruit such as berries, apples, plums, or grapes when they are available. It can scavenge carrion, which means feeding on animals that are already dead. Near people, it may find scraps, compost, pet food, or food waste. This does not mean every fox eats everything all the time. It means the fox has options. In spring, it may rely heavily on small mammals and food for kits. In summer, insects and fruit may become more useful. In autumn, fallen fruit, young rabbits, and rodents may matter. In winter, it may depend more on hunting, scavenging, and stored knowledge of where food is likely to appear. Shelter is flexible too. A fox may use a den in a bank of soil. It may rest in tall grass. It may lie under shrubs. It may use old burrows made by other animals. In human places, it may shelter under sheds, decks, abandoned buildings, or quiet corners where people rarely look. The fox does not need the perfect home. It needs a safe enough place, close enough to food, with enough cover to remain unseen. Timing is another part of its success. In wild areas, a fox may be active at dawn, dusk, or during the night. Near people, it often shifts more strongly into the quiet hours. When streets empty, when gardens go dark, when traffic fades, the fox moves. It can live close to humans without becoming fully visible to them. That is a powerful kind of adaptation. Not by fighting against the human world, but by slipping through the unused spaces around it. A red fox in a city and a red fox in a field are not living identical lives, but they are using the same deeper pattern. Listen carefully. Move lightly. Eat what the place offers. Shelter where the body fits. Avoid danger when possible. Return to useful paths. Change when the old path stops working. This is why the fox feels so hard to pin down. It is not only a forest animal, not only a farm animal, not only a city animal. It is an edge animal. It lives where one kind of place meets another, woodland and meadow, snow and soil, garden and alley, wildness and human life. And that flexible fox shape becomes even more remarkable when the edge of the world turns white, cold, and nearly empty. That flexible fox shape becomes even more remarkable when the edge of the world turns white, cold, and nearly empty. The Arctic fox, Vulpes lagopus, lives across some of the coldest northern lands on Earth. It can be found in Arctic tundra regions of Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Scandinavia, and Russia. Tundra is land where the growing season is short. Trees are mostly absent, and the ground can stay frozen for much of the year. In winter, this world can become a wide plain of snow, ice, wind, and low light. For many animals, heat loss is one of the greatest dangers. The body must keep warmth in, even when the air outside is far below freezing. The Arctic fox answers that problem with shape. Compared with the red fox, it has a more compact body. Its ears are shorter. Its muzzle is shorter. Its legs are shorter. These details may seem small, but they matter. Body parts that stick out lose heat faster. Long ears, long legs, and a long muzzle expose more surface area to cold air. Shorter parts help reduce heat loss, keeping warmth closer to the center of the body. The Arctic fox is not just wearing winter, it is shaped for winter. Its fur is one of the warmest coats in the mammal world. During the coldest months, the fur grows thick and dense, trapping air close to the skin. Air is a poor conductor of heat, which means it does not carry warmth away quickly. That trapped layer becomes insulation, like the quiet air held inside a winter jacket. The fox's coat can be so effective that the animal can rest on snow without losing warmth as quickly as many other mammals would. Even the paws are covered in dense fur. This is one reason its scientific name, lagopus, is sometimes linked to the idea of hare-footed, because the feet are furred like the feet of a snowshoe hare. Those fur-covered paws help in two ways. They insulate the footpads from ice and frozen ground. They also give the fox better contact with snow, spreading pressure slightly and helping it move across slippery surfaces. A red fox stepping through snow may leave narrow tracks. An Arctic fox is more fully built for that surface, from nose to tail. The tail, or brush, becomes especially important in this cold. When an Arctic fox rests, it can curl into a tight ball and wrap its tail around its body. The tail can cover the face, paws, and nose. This helps warm the air before the fox breathes it in and shields the most exposed parts from wind. A resting fox may look like a small mound of fur on the snow, with the animal's shape almost hidden inside its own coat. The body has become shelter. The Arctic fox also changes with the seasons. Many Arctic foxes are white in winter, blending into snow and ice. In summer, their coat may turn brown or grayish, matching rocks, soil, moss, and tundra plants. This seasonal color change is not just beautiful. It helps with camouflage. Camouflage means blending into the surroundings, so an animal is harder to see. A white coat helps in winter, when predators and prey both scan the open snow. A darker summer coat helps after the thaw, when the land reveals stones, mud, low plants, and nesting birds. Food in the Arctic can be uncertain. Lemmings, which are small rodents, are one of the most important prey animals for Arctic foxes in many regions. When lemming numbers are high, foxes may raise more young. When lemming numbers crash, life becomes harder. The fox may search for bird eggs, chicks, insects, berries, carrion, or leftovers from larger predators such as polar bears. It may follow the edge of sea ice, looking for scraps from seal kills. It may store extra food by burying it in snow or soil, returning later when hunting is poor. This makes the Arctic fox both specialized and flexible. Its body is specialized for cold. Its behavior remains flexible enough to survive changing food supply. That is the fox pattern again, reshaped by the far north. Light body, sharp senses, careful movement, a willingness to use whatever the land provides. But here, every detail has been softened, shortened, thickened, and wrapped in fur. The pointed fox has become rounder. The visible edges have been reduced. The animal seems almost snow-shaped. And far away from this frozen quiet, another fox solves the opposite problem. Not by holding heat in, but by letting it go. Far from the Arctic snow, the fennec fox solves the opposite problem. Its scientific name is Vulpes zerda. It lives in the deserts of North Africa, including parts of the Sahara, where daytime heat can rise above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The Arctic fox must hold warmth close. The fennec fox must release it. And the most obvious sign of that challenge is its ears. A fennec fox has enormous ears for its body size. The animal itself may weigh only 2 to 3.5 pounds. Its ears can reach about 6 inches long. On such a small head, they look almost too large, like pale sails lifted into the desert air. But those ears are not only for appearance. They are full of blood vessels close to the surface. When warm blood moves through the ears, heat can pass out into the surrounding air. This helps cool the body without the fox needing to sweat heavily. In a dry desert, saving water is as important as staying cool. So the ears act like a natural cooling surface. The same ears also help the fennec listen. Deserts may look empty during the day, but much of their life hides under sand, stones, or sparse plants. Insects move beneath the surface. Small rodents shift in burrows. Lizards scrape across dry ground. A fennec can tilt its ears toward these faint sounds and locate prey that may be difficult to see. Like the red fox listening above snow, the fennec listens through a surface that hides movement. One fox listens through cold white cover. The other listens across sand. The fennec's coat also fits the desert. Its fur is pale cream or sandy yellow, helping it blend into dunes and rocky ground. The pale color may also reflect some sunlight during the day. At night, that same fur helps hold warmth. because deserts can cool quickly after sunset. A hot place is not always hot all the time. Sand loses heat fast when the sky darkens. So the fennec needs to handle both daytime heat and nighttime chill. Even its feet are protected. The soles are covered with thick fur. This helps shield the paws from hot sand and gives better footing on loose surfaces. A bare foot would lose moisture and take more heat from the ground. A furred foot can move more safely across shifting dunes. The fennec also changes its timing. It is mostly nocturnal. Nocturnal means active at night. By resting during the day and moving after dark, it avoids the worst heat. During daylight hours, it often stays underground in a burrow. These dens can be more than simple holes. Fennec foxes may dig tunnel systems in sand, sometimes with several entrances. Underground, the temperature is more stable. The sand above acts like insulation. The den gives shade, shelter from wind, and protection from predators. It also gives the fox a place to raise young away from the open desert surface. The diet of the fennec is flexible too. It may eat insects, small rodents, lizards, birds, eggs, roots, fruit, and leaves. Some of its water can come from food. That matters in a place where standing water may be rare. The fennec does drink when water is available, but it can survive in dry conditions by using moisture from prey and plants. This does not make desert life easy. It only shows how carefully the animal is matched to its world. The Arctic fox and the fennec fox almost seem like two different answers written at opposite ends of the same page. One has short ears to reduce heat loss. The other has huge ears to release heat. One has dense winter fur and rounded body edges. The other has pale desert fur, furred feet, and a body built for night movement. One curls into its tail against frozen wind. The other disappears into a cool tunnel beneath hot sand. Yet both are foxes. Both are small canids. Both rely on sharp hearing, quick movement, hidden shelter, and a flexible diet. Both show the same deeper idea. A fox is not just one fixed shape. It is a survival pattern that can be adjusted. Shorten the ears, thicken the fur, and it belongs to snow. Lengthen the ears, pale the coat, and it belongs to sand. The fox form keeps changing, while the quiet logic underneath remains the same. The fox form keeps changing, while the quiet logic underneath remains the same. But even the word fox is not as simple as it sounds. In everyday language, fox usually means a small canid with a pointed face, alert ears, a light body, and a long tail. In science, the family tree is more detailed. Many of the animals we think of as true foxes belong to the genus Vulpes. A genus is a close scientific group, like a smaller branch inside a larger family. The red fox is Vulpes vulpes. The Arctic fox is Vulpes lagopus. The fennec fox is Vulpes zerda. These are true foxes in the stricter sense. They share many of the features that make a fox look like a fox. The narrow muzzle, the upright ears, the quick feet, the thick tail, the habit of hunting small prey and using hidden spaces. But other animals called foxes sit on different branches of the dog family. They are still canids. They are still related to dogs, wolves, coyotes, and true foxes. But they are not all part of Vulpes. The grey fox is one example. Its scientific name is Urocheon cinereoargenteus. It lives through much of North America and parts of Central America. At first glance, it looks fox-like. It has a pointed face, a long tail, and a small, careful body. But it belongs to an older branch of the dog family, separate from the red fox and other true foxes. Its coat is also different. Instead of the classic red-orange body of a red fox, the grey fox has grizzled grey fur along the back, reddish sides, and a dark stripe running along the top of the tail. Farther south, in parts of South America, there is the crab-eating fox. Its scientific name is Cerdychion thaus. Despite its name, it does not eat only crabs. It may eat crabs in wetland and coastal areas, but it also eats insects, small mammals, birds, eggs, fruit, carrion, and other available foods. It lives in habitats such as savannas, forests, wetlands, and open grasslands. Here again, the fox idea appears as flexibility. A light canid, a mixed diet, a body able to move through edges, cover, and changing food sources. In Africa, the bat-eared fox shows another version of the same pattern. Its scientific name is Otocion megalotis. The name points to its most obvious feature: huge ears. Those ears can help with heat, but they are especially useful for hearing insects. Bat-eared foxes eat large numbers of termites and other small invertebrates. An invertebrate is an animal without a backbone. Instead of chasing large prey, the bat-eared fox listens close to the ground for the faint movement of insects. Its teeth are also unusual for a canid. They are small and numerous, suited to chewing insects rather than tearing large pieces of meat. So the bat-eared fox carries the fox pattern in a very different way. Small body, large ears, careful listening. A diet built around what the land provides. Even the fennec fox, which is a true fox in vulpes, shows how far the shape can stretch. Its huge desert ears, pale fur, and tiny body look very different from an Arctic fox, curled against snow. Yet both still feel fox-like. This is what makes the group so interesting. Fox is partly a scientific category, but it is also a repeated shape in nature. It is a way small members of the dog family have solved similar problems. How to find food without great size. How to stay hidden without always living in a group. How to move through grass, sand, snow, shrubs, farms, and city edges. How to survive between larger animals and smaller prey. The answer keeps returning in different forms. A pointed face for investigating small spaces. Ears that catch faint sound. A light body that can turn quickly. A tail that helps with balance, warmth, and communication. A flexible diet. A habit of noticing what others miss. The fox is not one single answer. It is a pattern written many times across the dog family. And one of those versions carries the pattern into a place most canids rarely go. Up from the ground into the branches. The grey fox breaks the usual picture of what a fox is supposed to be. Most people imagine a fox crossing a field, slipping under a fence, or pausing at the edge of a road. It feels like a ground animal, a creature of grass, snow, soil, roots, and low cover. But the grey fox, Urocion cinerio argenteus, can climb. It is one of the rare members of the dog family that can move into trees with real skill. This does not mean it climbs like a squirrel or leaps through the canopy like a monkey. It is still a canid. It still has the long body, narrow face, and quiet movement of a fox-like animal. But it has strong, curved claws and flexible limbs that allow it to grip bark and scramble upward. A grey fox may climb a leaning trunk. It may work its way up a tree with rough bark. It may use low branches like steps. It can sometimes descend by backing down, almost the way a cat might, using its claws to hold the surface. This ability gives it options that many other foxes do not have. If a coyote, dog, or larger predator threatens it, a grey fox can escape upward. Instead of running only through brush or into a den, it can leave the ground entirely. A tree becomes a refuge, a place to rest, a place to wait, a place where danger below cannot easily follow. Grey foxes may also climb to reach food. They are omnivores, meaning they eat both animal and plant foods. Their diet can include small mammals, birds, insects, eggs, fruit, nuts, and carrion. In autumn, when fruit is ripe, a grey fox may feed on persimmons, grapes, apples, berries, or other soft fruits depending on the region. Climbing can help it reach food above ground or move through areas where fallen fruit collects beneath trees. The fox is not simply a hunter. It is a careful user of whatever the habitat gives. Grey foxes also use wooded places differently from open fields. They are often associated with brushy forests, woodland edges, rocky areas, and dense cover. Their grey coat, reddish sides, and dark tail stripe blend well with bark, shadow, dry leaves, and broken branches. A red fox can stand out brightly in some landscapes, especially against snow or green grass. A grey fox can seem quieter in color, almost stitched into the woods. Its body belongs to thickets, slopes, fallen logs, and tree shadows. The climbing ability changes how we picture the fox pattern. Before, the fox seemed like an animal of edges along the ground. The edge of a field, the edge of a city, the edge of snow, the edge of a desert burrow. But the grey fox adds a vertical edge. Ground and branch, root and trunk, forest floor and hollow tree. Some grey foxes may rest in tree hollows, especially where old trees have openings large enough to shelter them. A hollow tree is not the same as an underground den, but it can serve a similar purpose. It gives cover. It hides the body. It protects from weather. It places the animal inside the landscape rather than exposed on top of it. For a small canid, this matters. The world contains many larger animals. Coyotes, bobcats, dogs, and humans can all create pressure. A grey fox does not need to defeat them. It needs enough ways to avoid them. That is the quiet lesson in its climbing. Fox survival is rarely built on one great strength. It is built from many small choices. A path through brush, a den under roots, a fruit tree in autumn, a hollow trunk, a sudden climb when the ground is no longer safe. The grey fox reminds us that flexibility is not only about where an animal lives. It is also about how many doors the body can open. And once the fox has more doors, it can find food in more places, at more times, from more sources. This is one of the main reasons foxes survive so well. They are not strict meat eaters in the way many people imagine. They are omnivores. An omnivore is an animal that can eat both plant food and animal food. For a fox, that can mean a vole in winter, a beetle in summer, a rabbit in spring, or berries in autumn. The menu changes with the land. The fox changes with it. Red foxes often hunt small mammals. Mice and voles are especially important because they are common in fields, meadows, farms, roadsides, and grasslands. A vole may weigh only an ounce or two, but for a fox, many small meals can add up. Rabbits and young hares can also be important when available. A fox may stalk them through grass or catch young animals near cover. Birds can be taken too, especially ground-nesting birds, injured birds, or young birds that cannot yet fly well. Eggs are another quiet prize. A fox can find a nest by smell, nose into the grass, and carry away a meal hidden only minutes before. Insects add another layer. Foxes may eat beetles, grasshoppers, crickets, caterpillars, and other small invertebrates. An invertebrate is an animal without a backbone. In warm months, insects can be abundant and easy to catch. A fox walking through summer grass may pause often, snapping at small moving things that humans would barely notice. Even earthworms can become food in damp weather. After rain, worms rise closer to the surface, and a fox may search lawns, fields, or paths for them. The fox is not proud about food. It does not need every meal to be dramatic. Fruit also matters. Foxes may eat berries, apples, plums, grapes, cherries, and other seasonal fruits depending on where they live. In late summer and autumn, fallen fruit can become an easy food source. A fox may visit the same orchard edge or backyard tree night after night, eating what drops to the ground. Seeds may pass through the fox and be left elsewhere in its droppings. In that small way, a fox that eats fruit may also help move plants through the landscape. Carrion is useful too. Carrion means dead animal matter. A fox may feed on roadkill, remains left by larger predators, or animals that died from cold, sickness, or injury. This may sound harsh, but scavenging is part of how ecosystems clean and reuse energy. A dead bird, rabbit, or deer does not simply vanish. It becomes food for foxes, crows, beetles, bacteria, fungi, and many other living things. The fox is one small part of that recycling. Near humans, the menu widens again. Foxes may find food scraps in bins, compost piles, picnic areas, alleys, and gardens. They may eat pet food left outside. They may search under bird feeders for spilled seed that attracts rodents. They may learn which yards have fruit trees, which streets are quiet, and which paths lead to easy food after dark. This is not the same as becoming tame. A wild fox can use human leftovers while still staying cautious, hidden, and independent. The contrast with a specialist animal is useful. A specialist is an animal that depends heavily on one kind of food or one kind of habitat. If that food disappears, the specialist may struggle quickly. The fox has a different approach. When rodents are abundant, it hunts rodents. When fruit falls, it eats fruit. When insects fill the grass, it catches insects. When snow covers the ground, it listens beneath it. When people leave scraps, it may use them. This flexible diet does not make life easy. Foxes still face hunger, winter, disease, competition, and danger. But it gives them more chances. Instead of waiting for one perfect meal, the fox keeps finding possibilities. A rustle, a smell, a fallen apple, a broken egg, a beetle under bark, a mouse under snow, a scrap near a garden wall. The fox's menu is really a map of attention. It notices what the season offers. It remembers where food has appeared before. It moves through the world, not as a single kind of hunter, but as a quiet collector of chances. And those chances often gather near human places, where gardens, streets, bins, sheds, and parks create a new kind of edge. Those chances often gather near human places, where gardens, streets, bins, sheds, and parks create a new kind of edge. For a fox, a city is not only buildings and roads. It is a landscape of cover, pathways, food, and quiet hours. An urban fox may use a park the way a rural fox uses a meadow. It may follow a railway edge the way a field fox follows a hedgerow. It may slip behind sheds, under decks, along garden fences, through alleys, and across school fields after the day has gone still. The setting is different. The skills are the same. Stealth, listening, scavenging, timing. The red fox is especially good at this kind of adjustment. In many parts of Europe and North America, red foxes have learned to live close to people without truly becoming part of human life. They are not pets. They are not domestic animals. Domestic means shaped over many generations to live with humans, like dogs. Urban foxes remain wild. They simply use the spaces humans create and then forget about. A gap under a fence, a compost pile behind a house, a strip of grass beside a road, a den beneath a garden shed, a quiet cemetery with trees and open lawns, a railway corridor where people rarely walk at night. Cities may seem unnatural, but to a fox, they can contain many of the same useful features as the countryside. There are rodents near buildings. There are birds in parks. There are insects in lawns and flower beds. There are fallen fruits under backyard trees. There are food scraps in bins, takeout areas, and picnic spots. There are sheltered places under porches, garages, piles of wood, or overgrown corners. A fox does not need the city to be wild in the way a forest is wild. It only needs enough food, enough cover, and enough time when people are not watching. This is why many urban foxes become more active at night. Foxes are often described as crepuscular, which means most active around dawn and dusk. But in human areas, they may shift even more into the darker, quieter hours. When traffic drops, when doors close, when dogs are brought inside, the fox can move with less risk. Its routes may follow the same streets and garden edges again and again. A person may never see the fox, yet its tracks may cross the driveway before morning. Its scent may be left on a fence post. Its den may be hidden only a few yards from a busy sidewalk. Urban foxes have been studied for decades in cities such as Bristol and London in the United Kingdom. In these places, foxes found steady food supplies, mild urban temperatures, and many small shelter sites. A city can even create what is called an urban heat island. That means built areas often stay warmer than surrounding countryside because pavement, brick, concrete, and buildings hold heat. For a small mammal, a few degrees of warmth can matter during cold nights. The city also changes danger. There may be fewer large wild predators, but there are cars, dogs, poisons, diseases, fences, and people. A rural fox may avoid coyotes, wolves, or large birds of prey, depending on where it lives. A city fox must learn the rhythm of streets, engines, lights, gates, and human routines. It may pause at the curb. It may wait for a gap in traffic. It may cross quickly and vanish into shadow on the other side. The city fox and the field fox are not opposites. They are two versions of the same animal solving different patterns. In a field, the fox listens for voles under grass. In a city, it may listen for rats near bins or birds settling in shrubs. In a field, it follows the edge of a hedgerow. In a city, it follows the edge of a wall. In a field, it may den in a bank of soil. In a city, it may den beneath a shed or among tree roots in a park. The fox keeps turning human spaces back into habitat. That is part of why people notice it with such mixed feelings. A fox near a house can feel charming, strange, annoying, beautiful, or unsettling. It is close enough to seem familiar, but still too wild to belong. It appears in the garden and then disappears. It looks toward a window and then slips under the fence. It uses our world without asking to join it. That closeness helps explain why foxes did not remain only animals of fields and forests. They entered human stories because they were already living near the edge of human attention. Seen briefly, heard at night, blamed for missing chickens, admired for clever escapes. The animal beside the house became the animal inside the tale. Foxes appear in stories from many parts of the world. In some, they are clever. In some, they are dangerous. In some, they are magical. In some, they change shape, speak in riddles, steal food, fool stronger animals, or move between the human world and the wild one. This did not happen by accident. People built fox stories from real fox behavior. A fox is hard to catch. It appears suddenly, then disappears. It may take chickens from a yard, eggs from a nest, fruit from an orchard, or scraps from a doorstep. It moves most often when people are not watching. It calls at night with sounds that can seem too sharp, too strange, or too human for such a small animal. It lives close to villages, farms, roads, and gardens, but does not become fully tame. That combination made the fox easy to turn into a symbol. In ancient Greek storytelling, the fox often appeared as a clever animal that used thought instead of strength. In Aesop's fables, which were written down more than 2,000 years ago, foxes trick other animals, fail through pride, or use words to escape trouble. The famous story of the fox and the grapes gave us the phrase, sour grapes. In the story, the fox cannot reach the fruit, then decides it must not have been worth eating anyway. It is a simple tale, but it connects the fox with wit, excuse-making, and pride. In Japanese folklore, foxes are called kitsune. Kitsune can be wise, magical, loyal, mischievous, or dangerous depending on the story. Some are said to change into human form. Some are linked with Inari, a deity connected with rice, fertility, agriculture, and prosperity. In these stories, the fox becomes more than an animal. It becomes a being that can cross boundaries, wild and human, visible and hidden, ordinary and supernatural. In Chinese traditions, fox spirits also appear as shape-shifting beings. Some stories describe them as beautiful, mysterious, or dangerous. In Korean folklore, the fox spirit called a gumiho is often more threatening, sometimes taking human form and hiding its true nature. Across these traditions, the fox is not only quick, it is uncertain. It is difficult to read. That uncertainty is exactly what real foxes often create. The body is small, the movement is quiet, the animal is there, and then it is gone. In European folklore, foxes became symbols of slyness and cunning. Medieval stories about Reynard the Fox, popular across parts of Europe from around the 12th century onward, portrayed the fox as a trickster who survives by outwitting wolves, bears, nobles, and officials. Reynard is not the strongest character. He survives because he reads weakness in others. That idea fits the biology of a fox surprisingly well. A real fox does not overpower a wolf. It does not fight like a bear. It survives by noticing openings, a gap in a fence, a sleeping henhouse, a hidden den, a dropped scrap, a moment when a larger animal is not paying attention. The mythological trickster and the biological fox meet in that same place, not in magic, but in flexibility. The fox became a story animal because its real life already looked like a trick. It could live beside people without belonging to them. It could raid human spaces and vanish into hedges. It could scream from the dark and leave no visible body behind. It could survive where stronger animals struggled, not by being more powerful, but by being harder to predict. Even its coloring helped. A red fox in autumn leaves can seem to appear from the land itself. A grey fox in woodland shadow can blend with bark and dry branches. An Arctic fox in winter can nearly vanish into snow. A fennec fox can fade into pale desert sand. The fox is often seen for only a moment, and brief sightings leave space for imagination. Still, the stories should not make the real animal disappear. Behind every trickster tale is a living canid with ears, paws, teeth, fur, hunger, young to feed, and danger to avoid. The fox in folklore may be clever because it has to be. The fox in nature survives because it keeps adjusting. And beyond the stories people tell, foxes continue doing quiet work in the living world around them. A fox is not only a clever shape moving through grass, it is part of an ecosystem. An ecosystem is the living network of plants, animals, fungi, soil, water, weather, and energy in one place. Every animal in that network changes something, even if the change is small. A fox changes the world by hunting, eating, moving, leaving scent, feeding young, and returning nutrients to the ground. One of its clearest roles is hunting small animals. Red foxes often eat rodents such as mice, voles, and rats. In a field, a single vole may seem too small to matter, but vole populations can grow quickly when food and shelter are plentiful. Some species can produce several litters in one year. A female vole may have multiple young at a time, and those young can mature fast. When conditions are good, a meadow can hold many of them. Foxes help keep that movement in balance. They do not remove every rodent. They do not control the whole system by themselves. Owls, hawks, snakes, weasels, coyotes, and other predators also play their part. But the fox is one of the steady hunters moving along the lower edge of that food web. A food web is the set of feeding links between living things. Grass feeds insects and small mammals. Small mammals feed foxes, owls, and hawks. Dead animals feed scavengers, beetles, fungi, and bacteria. Energy keeps changing form. The fox stands in the middle of that exchange. When it catches a mouse, it is not only taking a meal, it is shaping the pressure on the mouse population. That pressure can affect seeds, roots, grasses, and crops, because rodents feed on plants, stored grain, bulbs, bark, and young shoots. In farms and fields, foxes can sometimes reduce the number of rodents that damage crops or stored food. This does not make them perfect helpers in every human situation. A fox may also take chickens, ducks, or eggs if they are easy to reach. Nature is rarely tidy that way. The same animal can be useful in one moment and frustrating in another. But its place in the system is real. It keeps moving through the small lives that many larger animals ignore. Foxes also help carry plants through the landscape. Because many foxes eat fruit, seeds can pass through their digestive system and leave the body in droppings. Droppings are also called scat. A fox may eat berries in one place and leave seeds somewhere else along a trail, field edge, woodland path, or garden boundary. Not every seed survives. Not every seed grows. But some may be moved farther than they would have fallen on their own. In this way, the fox can become a quiet seed carrier. A blackberry eaten at the edge of a hedge may end up beyond the next field. A wild cherry, grape, or berry seed may be left in soil with a little packet of natural fertilizer around it. Birds are more famous for this work, but mammals can do it too. The fox moves at ground level, through the narrow paths where seeds may find open soil, disturbed earth, or the edge of cover. Its fruit eating ties it to plants as well as prey. The fox also scavenges. Scavenging means feeding on dead animals or leftover food. A fox may find roadkill near a quiet lane. It may feed on the remains of a rabbit left by a larger predator. It may pick at a dead bird, a fish washed near shore, or scraps left behind by people. This work can seem unpleasant from a human point of view. But in nature, scavenging is part of cleaning and recycling. A dead animal does not stay separate from the world. Its body becomes food for many lives. Foxes, crows, beetles, worms, fungi, and bacteria all help break it down. Nutrients return to soil. Soil feeds plants. Plants feed insects and small mammals. And the circle continues. The fox is not the center of the system. It is one thread in it. But it is a thread that touches many others. Rodents, birds, fruit, seeds, carrion, soil, people, predators, prey. The fox survives by taking opportunities, but each opportunity leaves a trace behind. A field with fewer voles, a seed carried beyond its parent plant, a carcass cleaned before decay spreads further, a hidden trail used again and again through grass. The fox is not only moving through the world. In small, steady ways, it is helping shape the world it moves through. And now, the animal from the edge of the field feels different than it did at the beginning. At first, it may have seemed like only a small red shape in the dim light. A narrow face, two pointed ears, a long tail trailing softly behind it. But now that same fox carries many lives inside one body. It is a canid, a member of the dog family, related to wolves, coyotes, jackals, and domestic dogs. Yet it did not follow the same path as the wolf. It did not become a large pack hunter built mainly for power and distance. It became something lighter, quieter, more flexible. A fox survives by entering the spaces others overlook. The grass beside a field, the ditch beside a road, the hollow under roots, the strip of shadow behind a shed, the buried tunnel beneath snow. Its body makes sense now. The narrow muzzle reaches into small places. The large ears gather hidden sound. The light frame moves without much noise. The long tail, or brush, helps with balance and wraps around the body in cold weather. The fox is not built to overpower the world. It is built to notice it. It listens for mice and voles under grass, leaves, and snow. It can stand still over a blank white surface while life moves unseen beneath it. Then, in one smooth motion, it can leap upward and dive face first toward the hidden sound. That pounce, often called mousing, is one of the clearest images of fox life. Patience first, then sudden movement, a quiet measurement becoming action. And even that leap may hold a deeper surprise. Some red foxes may be more successful when they pounce in certain compass directions. Their bodies may be using Earth's magnetic field in a way people cannot easily picture. The same invisible field that turns a compass needle may help a fox aim at prey under snow. Sound from below. Magnetism from the planet. One small hunter held between two unseen guides. The fox also reads the world through scent. A field that looks empty to us may be filled with messages to a fox. Urine marks, scat, scent from glands, the trail of a rabbit, the passing of another fox, a boundary left on a stone, a grass clump, or a fallen log. The fox may hunt alone, but it does not live in a blank world. It moves through a quiet network of signs. Its social life is more hidden than a wolf pack, but it is still real. Pair bonds, territories, dens, kits underground, adults returning with food, young foxes wrestling near the entrance, learning balance, bite control, chasing, pouncing, and caution before they ever hunt for themselves. The fox is also not one single shape repeated without change. The red fox has spread across much of Europe, Asia, Northern Africa, North America, and Australia after human introduction. It can live in forests, farms, mountains, tundra edges, suburbs, and cities. It eats rodents, rabbits, birds, eggs, insects, fruit, carrion, and scraps left near human places. It is a generalist, meaning it can use many foods and many shelters, instead of depending on only one. Other foxes show the same flexibility in more extreme ways. The Arctic fox becomes compact, thick-furred and snow-colored, with short ears and furred paws for the frozen north. The fennec fox becomes pale, tiny, and desert-shaped, with huge ears that help release heat and catch faint sounds beneath sand. The grey fox even climbs trees, using strong claws and flexible movement to rest, escape danger, or reach food above the ground. Every version adds something to the same quiet pattern. Find the edge. Read the signs. Use what is there. Change when the world changes. This is why foxes entered human stories so easily. They are real animals, but they behave in ways that feel almost symbolic. They vanish into hedges. They call strangely at night. They live near people without belonging to us. They steal, scavenge, listen, wait, and survive. So people made them tricksters, shapeshifters, clever wanderers, and mysterious figures at the border between the known and the wild. But beneath every story is the living animal. Warm blood, soft paws, sharp ears, a den to return to, young to feed, a world to keep reading. And as the night settles around that first field again, the fox can return to being simple. Not because the mystery is gone, but because the mystery now belongs to the animal. A small canid at dusk, a hunter of hidden sounds, a parent of underground young, a climber, scavenger, seed carrier, and quiet shaper of the land. Not the strongest creature in the field, not the largest, not the loudest, but one that keeps finding a way. And then, with its tail low and its ears lifted, the fox slips back into the grass. The stems close softly behind it. The field grows still again, and the whole story moves with it, quiet as footsteps fading into the dark.